annihilated? No, of course not. Are they going to make a comeback? Of course. The empire is going to strike back in 2028.
Yeah.
But the empire struck back so many times. It struck back in 2016, 2020, 2024. And so maybe 2028 is, to extend this needless analogy, is the return.
I don't know why he keeps saying 2028, because it's already striking back now in 2025. Right up under this MAGA veil is the empire. It is the establishment. Absolutely. This was Krystal Ball destroying Cenk Uygur on the integrity of people, independent media. It was a good conversation. She brought up Tim Pool. I want to go ahead and get into it, because not everybody who's on a YouTube channel is actually independent. Let's get into it. But they talk about a lot of different things too.
Return of the Jedi, right? And so I'm not under any illusion that the establishment is gone, right? But was Kamala Harris the more establishment candidate? Yes, of course she was.
Sure.
Right? And so did she lose? Yes. And as I explained in another tweet in that thread, it's not just that Kamala Harris lost. Some Hillary Clinton lost, right? Joe Biden nearly lost. So it's not that. It's that mainstream media, which is the main weapon of the establishment, is now greatly reduced in its influence. Before, we could not get past them in a Democratic primary. Bernie almost had it in 16, but certainly in 2020 when he won the first 3 states, and mainstream media defeated him with their lies and propaganda, right? Oh, he's going to execute people in Central Park, he's a Nazi, etc. So the mainstream media guys are the worst liars in the world. They lie way worse than even right-wing media.
I don't know about that.
Okay, we can have that discussion. I think you cannot find 2 bigger liars in America than Joe Scarborough and Whoopi Goldberg.
I mean, but I hear you. But I also have been kind of black-pilled on a lot of independent media, because that tenant media situation where, Tim Pool and whoever else were taking random, sketchy money to put out whatever propaganda they were told to put out. I just, I don't see what has grown up on the right in the independent media space as actually being better than the mainstream press.
I totally disagree with you.
Wow, of course you totally disagree, because what she's talking about was that tenant media, like Russian type of money, oligarch money, that was put out there. And for some reason, Dave Rubin and Tim Pool kind of skated through that. But Lauren Chen was completely eviscerated. It is not lost on me that Lauren Chen was the only person out of this crew who was calling out Israel at the time. There is a connection there that a lot of people miss. Anyway, and now we see today, well, Tim Pool is meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel, right? And that's weird to me. I don't know why it wouldn't be weird to other people, but that is weird to me. I mean, you realize that the technocrats, and God, I hate using these words, these billionaires I like billionaires, by the way, that are with the tech Silicon Valley, plus our foreign policy being Israel focused, with domestic policies coming out about hate speech laws and everything else, you realize that the establishment was always in your face, and you see exactly what it's made up of. This isn't some shadow government. It's in your face. And it's showing itself now more than ever, so I don't know why he's saying 2028. He's trying to run cover because he was trying to keep on good with the right. But let's go ahead and let him keep doing that. And I want to kind of get into Tim Pool a little bit more.
While I feel like what I agree with you on is there is a possibility that exists now that didn't before. And so I feel I guess what I relate to in your tweet is I would say I feel energized because there is a possibility that wasn't there, that is there now. I think the most likely outcome is that things continue to get worse. That's why I don't feel like optimistic, because what I see over the next 4 years is you're probably going to have, a lot of cruelty towards immigrants. You're likely to have, another inflationary spiral if he does, half of the tariffs he's talking about. You could very easily have more chaos in the Middle East. We're already seeing it. More brutality in the Middle East. That's almost certainly going to happen. You could have some giant crypto bubble as possible, avian flu. There's all kinds of things that I think could be horrible and brutal over the next 4 years, and I can't look at that. I would love to feel optimistic that, there's going to be a light at the end of the rainbow. And like I said, I do feel energized, but optimistic is just not, I would love to be there, but I'm not.
So let me agree and disagree in part.
Okay.
So first of all, I agree with your facts. So when we're talking about online media, are the Russians involved? Are there fracking billionaires that are financing shows?
Yeah.
Billionaire X and billionaire Y, and do some of those shows totally serve those interests?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're reading the ads themselves.
Yeah.
So there's not even like, the appearance of an arm's length distance
Yeah,
from
I
the
get all that.
advertisers and the money.
I get all that and I grant all that. Okay, so why then, given those facts, am I more optimistic about online media than mainstream media? Because mainstream media is a prison. And it's a prison in the past you could not break out of. There's guardrails. You are not allowed to say things outside those guardrails. You cannot talk about how the donors obviously control all the politicians. Obviously. You cannot talk about how Israel obviously controls Washington and Washington's occupied territory. It's so obvious. But if you say it, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. I hate.
Okay, so shout out to him because, all right, yeah, he's right. He's right about that. They were a lot harder on that with the mainstream. But here's what they're doing now with the so-called alternative media is that they're making it a nuanced conversation and telling you that you're crazy if you think anything else. Hold on.
Last night I wasn't here. I got late word that I was invited to a private roundtable meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It was under what's called Chatham House rules. For those that are not familiar, this means that you cannot reveal anybody who attended, nor attribute anything to any one individual, as they can deny it, and they would. However, what I love about what the White House is currently doing, when you bring together a bunch of influencers and podcasters who don't know much about journalism culture, whatever you want to call it, not that we respect it tremendously, most people didn't know what Chatham House meant. So, with all due respect, it's funny because they bring us into the Blair House, which is where Netanyahu was staying. And immediately people are walking around with their cameras, their phones up. They actually took our phones from us. And I legit thought they would maintain Chatham House rules, meaning you can't quote the prime minister, you can't quote his officials and the other people who were there, but you can report what was said generally. If you wanted an official quote on a specific matter, you would then ask an official once the meeting was wrapped, and they'd provide you the exact quote. Or they would just say outright, like, we haven't put our quotes on that one.
Okay, so Tim Pool just explained to you that he was involved in some meeting, some secret meeting. He got mad because he was called out for it, right? So, here we are today, right? He was really pissed off because Kim Iverson went in, and he was really pissed off that she went in. How's this normal? Why is Tim Pool being called in those kind of meetings, right? I'll let you figure all that out, right? But this is not normal. So what I look at most of these so-called independent people, whatever you want to call them, I look at them as a bunch of propagandists at this point. Because this was clear as day. And if somebody can't understand what the problem is with that, then I don't know what to tell you.